Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. Welcome to this quick inspiration episode 4 where we are playing around with book pages and we're making some book page creations. In this video, we will be creating 5 different elements using book pages, and then we will put them together into a beautiful package or packages that you see in front of you right now. All right, let's begin. Should we start top down or bottom up? I say bottom up. So we're going to start with the bottom piece, which is this beauty here. And you will need 2 full pages for this. So what I mean by that is you will need not just a single page, this is like a single page, but you will need 2 pages joined together. So you can do that yourself by joining them together, or you can find the middle of your book or the middle of a signature in a book. Let's see, say for example here, you can see those threads in there. Cut all of those threads. And then you can pull the whole page out, and this is what you need. All right, so the book that I'm using, I've had it for a few years, and I cut out all the beautiful images and things like that. Look at this, really pretty. This book is a rescue book, and it was sent to be destroyed, so I don't feel bad cutting up or hacking into books. This is a subject I've spoken on many times, so I don't want to be repeating myself. Okay. Now, this is what we're making. This is what we'll focus on. You will need 2 of these spreads. I'm going to see if I can find something a little bit interesting, perhaps with an image. Okay, and here we go. So I'm going to show you how I did this little booklet. And of course, you can take this in many different ways. You can make a journal out of it and all sorts of stuff. I made it like an ephemera, kind of a holder thing. You can make it into a journal. You can bind a signature in the middle, for example, I could have very easily bound a little signature in here, and that way I would have pockets on the sides and, space for writing in the middle. But I just wanted to keep it simple. So, okay, so obviously you fold the bottom page up, and you've probably worked out that the bigger your book, the better for this project. But it doesn't have to be book pages after all. You can use really anything you have on hand. Okay, so we folded it up, and now let's fold it in. So we're folding both sides in approximately, let's say to about there. I'm cutting a lot of that image off, but I'm not going to focus on things like that. I'm showing you how to make this. Okay, and now we're going to align our next fold here. We want it to be the same so that when you close it, they kind of meet there on the side. Okay, so now we have these folds and we have these folds, and now you can just play around. You can see that. I am going to make a fold here, and I want my fold to kind of go from that corner. This is the look we're creating. You can see that. And this one isn't even going from the corner, so it doesn't have to be perfect here. So it's easier to fold outwards and then fold it back in. So here we go. I was just holding it there, and now might leave a bit of space there. Okay, that's done. Repeat on the other side. I want to leave approximately the same amount of space. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And fold it down, and now we can go ahead and fold that in. Lovely. Next thing we're going to do is create these folds here. Very straightforward. I want to leave a tiny little bit of space there. You can go all the way to the edge, and there we go. Fold number 1 is done. Fold number 2 is done. Flip that on the inside. Flip that on the inside. Perfect. Now grab your next page, and we want to repeat the same process. I want them to be exactly the same so that my booklet kind of looks, they're all aligned. You can, if you want, have your second one poking out. It can be larger here. They don't have to be the same, but I'm gonna make them the same. So I'm going to use this first one that I did as a template, aligning at the top, and now I'm gonna fold this up, make that fold. Now next thing we want to do is make these folds, and I want them the same. I'm gonna align them here in the middle, and then I can mark myself here where I need to fold. And now to do the other side, I'm gonna close this side and just use that as my template for this side. All right, perfect. And now we are repeating the same steps as we did previously, and you can even have it flipped out that way. I think that looks quite nice as well. And there it is, we have our two pieces, and you can see here what's going to happen. We're building, I can maybe do this as my front. I don't have any beautiful images there, but none of that is important. Okay, at this point, it's up to you if you just want to glue stuff down or if you want to sew around. I did a combination of both. So first I'm going to glue these flaps down. And now for this here, if you're just gluing, you would apply your glue here and obviously shut it down, and then you can apply your glue here, just there on the inside, and that would kind of keep that shut, which is exactly what I did. But you can see sewing on mine, and this is only, like, it doesn't actually do anything, the sewing. It's for looks only, you see. I actually also glued that down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do exactly the same thing here. I'm simply going to take this to my sewing machine and just do a little stitch here, a little decorative stitch, and then I'll come back and glue it down. Okay, so you don't need the sewing machine, but it does kind of make everything look nice. And you know what else makes it look really nice? Inking all of the edges. Okay, so I've sewn through both of them and I have inked the edges. It just makes it all nicer. And I noticed that I don't know what happened here. There's a bit of a rip from all of those holes that are in the page, so that's fine. I will just reinforce it, and that's not visible from the inside anyway, so perfectly fine. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is just apply glue here, just there and there, so that that's kept closed. We don't want to apply glue anywhere else because we want that roominess in there. Well, I want the roominess in there because I'm thinking of filling it up with stuff. So loose pockets that can fit a lot of stuff. All right, so that's that one done. You can see how there's quite a bit of room in there, and repeat on this one. Okay, so that's all ready to go for my booklet. You can continue and make more of these and make 4 or 5 or 6 to create a larger booklet, but then you'll be able to fit less stuff inside, so keep that in mind. Next thing you need is a little offcut piece of fabric for your spine. If you want to cover the spine, which I do, like this one here, you see that. And I'm going to use this. You can use a scrapbook paper, washi tape. I mean, washi tape is not going to give you much support there, but it can be done. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and apply glue on the sides of the spine, but not over the spine because the spine has holes and the glue will seep right through. So I just want next to the spine. You can use your fabrics. If you've watched my video on DIY book cloth, you can use some of those pieces, but in that video I'll show you 7 ways of making your own book cloth. But for this little project, I'm not too fussed. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I still don't want any glue seeping through the fabric, which is why I ran my finger across the glue. Okay, I'm going to cut off, or you can rip off the excess here. And just side note here, when you do glue your fabric down, don't go ahead and glue it down flat over the spine and let it dry that way. You need a little bit of give. You see when I open that fabric lifts, you need that for your booklet to close properly. So apply your fabric and perhaps let it dry in this closed position. Or you don't have to let it dry, you can just keep going. Take your second piece, and third and fourth, and depending on how many you made, and nestle them together. Grab your needle and your thread. I'm using this black and white twine. I love the contrast that it gives to this project. And then we're going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So you need 3 holes, middle, bottom, and top. And now I usually start binding from the inside, but this time I want the bow on the outside. So I'm going to start from the outside. Now I'm on the inside, going back outside, going back in through the bottom hole and back outside. And tighten everything. make sure you have your strings on either side of that middle string. Tie a knot and the little bow. Now you can go ahead and embellish any way you like. I'm just going to glue this piece on top. Look how beautiful that looks. All right, now I have this tea-dyed card. I'm simply going to glue this other piece that I have on hand in my stash. This little image was also cut out from that book that I showed you before. And now that can go in here. I might add a little sticker right over here. Staying with that garden theme, I'm going to glue this on top here. Lovely. And now on the inside, I'm going to fold this tea-dyed graph paper that I have just for some journaling space in there. Pop another little something in here and more gardening stuff in the pockets. And I'm going to call this done. I mean, you can keep going and embellishing. You can do all sorts of stuff. In this very last pocket, I'm going to pop one of these. And how about a little bird image? And here we go. That's element number 1 done and dusted. You can have little beads here and really easy to make. And I have 2 of them now. All right, let's do second element, which is this tag that has a pocket and writing space on the back. All right, so again, you need a book page. Let's see what I have. I think I'm gonna go with this one because of this image here. So we're gonna be folding it in this way. So I'm gonna rip this side. Then how wide do I want it? Totally up to you. I might use my previous one as a little template. So I'm gonna fold it right over here. Perfect. And now ink this edge so that it stands out. There we go. This is probably too tall. I think I want my tag to be a little bit shorter. And again, I'm going to use this as template. And I'm not going to give you measurements because measurements, it really, you know, doesn't matter. You just go with whatever. Like, I don't know how tall your book page is, and it really doesn't matter. So trim that off. And now I'm going to cut it into a tag shape. I have one of these little templates here, little plastic card. You can just eyeball it. There it is, my tag shape. And now I want to back this with a paper because I want to have it as a journaling spot. So I'm gonna have this as my backing, and it's a tea-dyed old calendar page. I'm gonna apply glue stick all over the back, and I like to use up every single last bit of that glue stick. You don't need to watch me applying the glue stick, but I like to use up every single little bit. So I use one of these to get it out and then apply it over the top. And apply it all over. Might do a little bit more just on the edges. Actually, I'm going to sew around, but if you're not going to sew around, then make sure that those edges are really glued down. Okay, and now that goes on top. You don't have to use a sewing machine, of course. And if you don't, like I said, you just make sure that all of the edges are really well glued down. And then you apply glue here and the top and then the bottom, and that's going to be closing the pocket. But I'm going to sew all the way around, so the sewing is going to keep that pocket closed. Once that's all done, cut all of the excess off, and of course ink all the edges. Add a little tag topper if you wish. Probably should have done that at the sewing stage. You can staple it on. I'm just going to sew that through. Pop a little something in the pocket. I know it's going to hide that beautiful image underneath, but that's all right. And then perhaps add a little sticker just for a little extra touch. And element number 2 is done. See that? Perfect. Moving on to element number 3. I know this is upside down. I was imagining it being in a journal on the side. What we are making is a very, very simple envelope. I mean, it doesn't get, you don't even need to see me do this, but I'm gonna. So, get another book page. By the way, in case if anyone asks, all of these little bits and pieces that I'm using and the little stickers and stuff like that, it's all from TAPERLOGY. I'm going to leave a link down below to TAPERLOGY with the discount code, just in case if you want to check it out. Okay, here's the thing. If you want your envelope to be writing on the main part, the writing to be the right way up, then you take your book page and you turn it upside down. I'm actually going to do it this way because I want the house to be visible. So your writing has to be upside down. So when you're making an envelope, then the writing will be the correct way up. All right, page upside down. Again, I want to make it the same as this one here. So I'm going to use that as a template. But you really just want to be leaving a little bit of a flap, obviously, up here. And there's the envelope. And when I was making this one, I felt like that flap is too short. I didn't like how short it is. and that's why I went in with a little ruffled piece of fabric. So grab your little piece of fabric if you wish to add that on. You don't have to. And then before we do anything else, I'm going to sew this on, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And start sewing. Maybe go back stitch, and then just ruffle it up. And here we go, that's the flap. But now that I'm at my sewing machine, I might as well close my envelope and do the sewing here. So I'm starting here and sewing around the 3 sides. And done. Chop all the bits off, ink the edges, and now go to town with embellishing. When you turn it around, you'll notice that everything is upside down. You might want to do a little something on the back. I'm just applying a simple sticker and another sticker, and I'm gonna call that done. Now over here, I folded a journaling page down. I folded it this way because I want to pop it in, but I want this to be sticking out down here. You see, we're creating some sort of a layer there. And then I have this stamp that I bought at a craft fair, and I stamped it a few times on cardstock. I'm just going to cut it out, and I'm going to go with the upside down thing because I'll have it in a journal this way, so I'm fine with the upside down thing. Pop a little paper clip, maybe a spiral paper clip if you have some. If not, anything will do. And there we go. Element 3 is done, and I actually created 3 of them. Look how cool they look. Love them. All right, element 3 done. Here we go. Element 4. This is a 4 pockets. You have 4 pockets from one page, and then if you glue down on a journal, you have a 5th pocket. All right, so you'll need 1 book page. If you're using simple book pages with no images, you want to start off with your book page upside down. If you want the writing here to be the right way up. Now this book page that I'm using has an image here. It has a bit of writing. I'm going to go with this. All right, let's start with your pages upside down. You fold it in half, and then you fold it up. You can go all the way up to the top, or you can leave, you see that? Leave a bit of space at the top. And then you start folding. I'm going to keep this here so you can see what I'm doing. First pocket, we're folding right here from the corner. Fold it down. And then you're just leaving a bit of space between each one. Just like that. Here we go. Then you flip them. You can glue them down this way, up to you. I flipped mine onto the inside. And you can see that. So easy and simple. Before I continue, I'm going to chop this off. Just straighten the edge and ink the edges as well. I might actually round the edges first and then ink. Okay, here we go. Next thing you want to do, apply a little bit of glue on the inside of these folded bits just so that they stay down and out of your way. Bit of glue on that one. I think that's it. There's only 3 flaps. All right, at this stage, I'm going to apply glue here. Because I'm creating this pocket here on the side, and just so you know, that's kind of the same space. You can see that. So totally optional. I think it looks quite rich and nice that way, but I'm just gluing down here at the top. If you're not going to sew, well, first of all, if you don't want the side pocket, you can go ahead and sew the 3 sides or glue the 3 sides. Because I want to keep that pocket there, I'm only going to apply glue on the top here. All right, there we go. So when that's glued down, you can see a little pocket here. And you can leave it like this. You don't even have to add any more glue. But I like the look of sewing. You can see that there. So I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and just sew here and here. And done. That's all there is to it. And now you simply fill up the pockets and embellish this here. I'm going to do that off camera. I'll be right back. Well, now that I'm here, I might as well do it on camera. I have my 3 tags ready, and I have a bit of cardstock here. Here comes the tag shape. I'll want a bit of this for the tag topper. I also want a little image, so I've chosen this straight out of the book. Glue that on top. And now with this tag topper, I'm gonna fold it in half and then pinch it down the bottom. And I'm going to sew that on. I could staple it on. All right, that's ready. Okay, now these 3 tags, all they need is a little bit of twine up the top. Okay, and let's build those pockets. Well, we're putting the tags in the pockets. This one goes in here. And now, just for looks, I like to contain these strings. Just for when I'm putting them in a little pack, they're not kind of all over the place. So I'm just gonna pop them in here. Perfect. And now for this little bottom bit, I'm just gonna grab a piece of tea-dyed something that I have and ruffle it up in my sewing machine, just like that. Lovely. Apply a bit of glue and on it goes. The messier the better. And then one last thing, a little sunflower sticker right on top. And element 4 is done and dusted. One more element to go. And last but not least, element 5 is this one here that opens up like that and like that. All right, let's make it. For this, you will need one book page, and I chose a book page that has an image on top. You can see here a little bit of an image peeking out. Once again, you don't have to do that, of course, you can just have the writing. Okay, you fold it in half. Actually, fold it in half this way first. I don't think it matters, but let's do it this way. Fold it in half, and then fold it in half again. Get those edges or folds really crisp. Perfect. Now create a tag shape. Great. So far so good. Open it up. So that's going to be my inside. That's the outside. I want to cover all of the inside. So I'm using a tea-dyed piece of paper and I'm going to apply glue all over this and glue it on top of this. All right, I'm getting all of that glue stick out. It's important when you're covering this to cover the whole surface, all of it, including the folds. Like I'm gonna go in with the glue stick and then I'll also apply my other glue. Now I'm going in with my second glue, really getting it covered, including the folds. And now that goes on top of my tea-dyed paper and really smooth it down, glue it down really well. That's what I have so far. At this point, I'm gonna take it to my sewing machine and sew all around the lines, all around. And I'm gonna start from here because that's the back of the tag. All right, here we go, that's all done. And now just cut all the excess paper off, cut all the way around. Once that's all done, go ahead and ink all the edges. And now at this point, you want to refold. So this might take a little bit of beating it into submission. We'll see how we go. That glue is not dried yet, but might as well ink this edge now that I'm at it. All right, so that's one fold done. And now let's do this one. You will probably notice that things are not lining up as perfectly as they did before, and that's okay. And that's of course normal because we've added another piece, so we've added bulk. And you can always go ahead and trim that a little bit, which is what I'm going to do now. As long as you're not cutting through any thread, you'll be fine. Okay, so that's nicely aligned. Now to do the little tag topper here, we are only punching a hole through the very first layer. So open it up and punch a hole in the middle. There we go. You can add a little hole reinforcer if you wish here. I'm gonna add an eyelet. This is not necessary, but it just looks good. And here we go. Okay, we'll come back to that later. I'm gonna do the inside now. So I wanted to create like a journaling spots here. So I'm just gonna use what I have left over from this piece. I have two pieces that I'm gonna glue down there. I'm gonna cut them into a tag shape. Here we go, looking good. I might do some sewing around and glue them down. Lovely, like two little houses. All right, that's glued down, that's the inside. And now to finish off, we're gonna add a little bit of something up the top. A little bit of something meaning some kind of a tag topper. Next, I'm gonna add an image here. I'll go for this. This is from a book. Next, I'm going to add a little closure, which is just a paper clip with a charm. This came off of a belly dancing belt. And then up here, add a little jump ring just underneath this tag topper. Close. There it is, the little jump ring. And now I can attach anything I want onto it, really. This one has a little pendant heart that opens up. Unfortunately, I don't have any more of those. So I'm just going to use another heart that I have, but I need to get it off this. All right, let's see how this is gonna look. Pop a jump ring through the heart and the jump ring that we have already on there, and close, and done. element 5 is done, and now we put it all together. Get a piece of twine, and we have the booklet, the tag, the envelope, the little full pocket thing, and the tag that opens up. We stagger them, stack them, and then close. Tie a knot and a bow, and then choppity chop. And I think just for one last touch, I want to add some pearls here, give her a necklace. And there we have it. Most definitely that final touch is perfect. Love it. In fact, I love everything about this project. I really enjoyed making it. I hope you feel inspired. I know a whole lot of us have a whole lot of book pages that we can use up, and the ideas really are endless of all the things that we can make. Maybe this is a little bit something different where you can see different elements and then putting it all together. I don't know. I really enjoyed this craft session today. Please let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.